खेती ले लिए इनको क्या प्रेस करते So bring them along, rally, public video Bring them home alive today. 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 Please make your way to this plaza over here. Keep going. We're going to fill this plaza. Don't go up the stairs. Just keep moving and follow the crowd. In front of the pool. Thank you. Please keep going. Keep going around the pool, and we're going to fill this plaza. Please continue and fill the space, not up the stairs, but in front of the plaza. Please fill the space here. Keep moving. Keep moving. We can fill the space here in front. Thank you. Not going up the stairs. Please keep moving. Please keep moving. That way. Please keep moving. Across the plaza. We're going to fill the space. You can stop at the end of the plaza and hold there. We're going to fill this whole space. Please keep coming. Please keep coming and fill the space. Don't come up the stairs. Thank you. Keep going. Keep going to the left. Keep going straight. Thank you. for me, for my sister that is there for 184 days, for all the hostages families that sit right here next to me. Some of them are U.S. civilians, for the ones that are in Israel or in another delegation. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart to come with us to this sacred place that represents freedom. Freedom for all. I want you all to join me. Thank you. I want you all to join me. Please, before we start, I want you all to join me to the countdown of days we're doing every Saturday at the rally in Tel Aviv. We are counting the days. It is so hard to count the days. It took us so long. But it's important that we all feel how it feels for them. These 3 minutes for us, it's like a world to them. So we will start together when we will count until 184 the amount of days that they are held by Hamas terror organization and deserve their freedom today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 153, 154, 155, 156, 157, 158, 159, 160, 161, 162, 163, 164, 165, 166, 167, 168, 169, 170, 171, 172, 173, 174, 175, 176, 177, 178, 179, 180, 181, 182, 183, 184, 184 days feels like a nightmare. Thank you everyone that came here today to join us, to give us strength, and may it be the last time we will meet that way, the last time we will meet so frustrating, but full with hope. Next time, it will be with all of them here together with us.
Kol Beit Yisrael, Achenu, Kol Beit Yisrael, Anetunim Batzara, Batzara Uvashivia, Haomdim Ben Bayam, Ben Bayavasha. Achenu, Kol Beit Yisrael. Achenu, Kol Beit Yisrael, Anetunim Batzara, Batzara Uvashivia, Haomdim Ben Bayam, Ben Bayavasha. Hamakom Yirachem, Yirachem Aleichem, V'yotziem Mitzara, L'yirvacha, U'me'afel Aleora, U'mishi'abud Li'ola Hashta, Bagala uvizman kariv, Hamakom Yirachem, Yirachem Aleichem, V'yotziem Mitzara, L'yirvacha, U'me'afel Aleora, U'mishi'abud Li'ola Hashta, Bagala uvizman kariv.
Elohei Yisrael, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo el rachum v'chanun b'tfilah v'tachanunim, anu fonim elecha l'hachzir b'shalom levatehem et yikirei amcha hashvuyim v'henedrot shene'egru biyad zdonot mibatehem v'nechtefu el eretz oyev. Charedim anu legoralam u'mevoatim me'amachshava al ma she'over al nehadrim ve'al nedarot hashvuyim v'hashvuyot shelanu av harachamim hayeh na be'ezram v'hagen ba'adam v'hashivem b'imheira l'chek mishpechotechem v'karechem k'moshe amarta hineni shav shvut ohale Yaakov umishkanotav arachem. God of Israel, rock and redeemer, God of mercy, of compassion, we plead that you return these precious and beloved, captured and missing, who have been cruelly and heartlessly torn from their homes and carried off into enemy territory. We are terrified contemplating their fate and horrified at the thought of what the missing and captured suffer right now. And so we plead before you, Master of the world, be at their side, support them, protect them, and quickly bring them back to the embrace of their families and all who love them. As you have declared, thus says the Lord, behold, I will restore the captives of Jacob's tents and have mercy on their dwelling places. Amen. Thank you for being here. I wish we weren't. I want to, in particular, thank the Hostage and Missing Families Forum, the Jewish Federation of Greater Washington, and the many, many grassroots leaders and volunteers and activists who have made this gathering and every other for 6 months happen. Most importantly, we recognize and prioritize the families who are in front of me: the Siegel family, the Dekel-Chen family, the Romy Gonen family, the Nutra family, the Alexander family, the Romy Gonen family, and the Levy family. In just a couple of weeks, each of us will conclude our seders in pretty much the same way. Mozgin kos shel Eliyahu upotchim et hadelet. We'll prepare a cup. We'll walk over to the door. We'll open it and invite in Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet. Why? According to our sages, Elijah comes to answer unresolved questions, 4 cups or 5, but there's more, because in classical Jewish literature, Elijah does not only bring a response, Elijah is the question, sometimes loudly and sometimes silently. Why did you build your gatehouse facing inwards and not outwards? What are you doing in these ruins? And my son, what will you say to God on the day of your judgment? Eliyahu Hanavi comes not only with a window to resolution, but with a mirror. He holds it up to us. He forces us to stare into it so that we may ask ourselves, have I done enough? In times of trouble, did I go to the center, or did I seek out the margins and tend to those who couldn't tend to themselves? Did I engage with the mitzvot, the commandments that mattered most? Were my actions, were my words aligned with my highest values? So this year, I suggest that we each place right outside our doors a mirror, so that when we open it, we confront our inner Elijah. So we gaze at ourselves and ask, did we internalize and actualize the great mitzvah of Pidyon Shvuim, the redemption of captives, as objective number 1? Did we internalize and recognize that to win is to begin with, to elevate, to ensure, to prioritize bringing them all home? When my youngest chants, Manishtana halayla hazeh, that this night is different from all others, will I be able to respond? Will you, in the spirit of the very story we tell, yes, tonight is different, because tonight there are no empty chairs, no empty tables, no vacant spaces for our captives. Tonight is different. Tonight is different, we need to be able to say, because tonight they are home with their families where they belong. For now, 184 brutal, inhumane, and unconscionable days, our families, those in front of me, and too many more, have endured an ever-compounding pain of loss, of mourning, uncertainty, desperation, agony. The suffering in Israel, the suffering in Gaza is too much to bear. Tochelet memushacha machalei lev ve'etz chaim ta'ava ba. Hope deferred decays the heart. Desire realized is the tree of life. Our unified message, and we need a unified message. Our unified message, our tza'aka gedola, our demand to the terrorists, to Hamas, release them now, today. Send our people home. Our unified message, our tza'aka gedola to our own leadership. We demand a deal now. Bring them home now. No more delay. Biyachad ninatzeach im pidyon shvuim. We win when we are together again. Am Yisrael Chai. Now I'd like to invite up the mother of Romy Gonen, Meirav Leshem Gonen.
My name is Meirav Leshem Gonen, and I'm the mother of Romy Gonen, a beautiful 23-year-old young woman held in the cruel hand of Hamas for 6 months now, 184 days. I am standing here at the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of freedom on the land of the most powerful nation of the free world. And I ask you all, I ask the free world, let my people go. $133 abducted people of all ages are still in Gaza. My daughter, my wonderful, happy, funny, strong young daughter is still held by Hamas. All of us here represent the free world, the life, the strength of humanity, the light. And we are all in this fight together. We are all in this fight together. The fight for love, prosperity, humanity, and light over darkness. On the morning of October 7th at 6:35, I woke up with Romy's phone call. She was crying and telling me about the rockets flying around them and how afraid she was. We were with Romy on the phone when she decided to try and escape by car. Romy and her best friend Gaia, rest in peace. Both of them didn't get too far, only 2 kilometers to the east, waiting more than an hour in a traffic jam. At 8 a.m., they heard horrifying screams of hundreds of people shouting, "Run as fast as you can! They are coming to kill us!" She was hiding behind the bushes for almost 2 hours, texting me, "Mommy, I cannot talk because they will hear." Sentence that threw me right back to the Holocaust sentences. The word believe will not be said ever again. 2 hours later, we were relieved when we understood that a friend was coming to rescue them from this hell. We thought she's on her way out of there. And then I got the phone call at 10:14, starting with the words, "Mommy, I was shot. I am bleeding and I think I'm gonna die." For 45 minutes, we were on the phone, hearing the gunshots around Romy, listening to her pain, her fear. She was strong and tried to stay calm. And I just kept telling her how much we love her and that she's not alone. During the last 20 minutes of the phone call, I heard the terrorist approaching the car. shouting over my daughter's head, trying to start the car at the end. Trying to start the car and talking above my daughter's head, my beautiful, beloved daughter, and then taking her out of the car. We all heard the testimonies of the survivors telling us about torture the women are going through, about the fear, about the pain, about sexual violence, the fact that their whole identity is taken away from them, together with their free will and their freedom. I am standing here with you, and I want to ask you all, please join me. Please join us for the rightful cause of releasing those who cannot speak for themselves. Join us in the fight for humanity in order to defeat Hamas, to bring about humanitarian aid and ceasefire in Gaza. It all must start with the release of all hostages. All those standing with the free world, our world as we know it, I want to ask you all, join us. Imagine how it will feel like when the hostages are back home. Passover is approaching, the Jewish holiday for freedom. Imagine the hostages back home, sitting with us, healing with us, and the ones that were murdered get their final rest and buried in dignity. I want you all to shout out together with me, here at the Lincoln Memorial, the symbol of freedom, on the land of the most powerful nation of the free world. Shout until they're back. Let my people go.
Let my people go. Let my people go.
Let my people go.
Let my people go. Let my people go.
Because only light will overcome darkness, and we are all light.
Honored to invite up Congressman Jamie Raskin.
Thank you, Romy Gonen, for that beautiful speech, and thank you, Yarden, and thank you to all of the marchers today for your devotion to the well-being and the safe homecoming of each and every hostage taken by Hamas. We demand a deal to bring all the hostages home and to secure civilian life. We are all part now of this horrific predicament. Many Americans, many of my constituents in Maryland included, have ties of family and friendship to the hostages, including Romy Gonen, including Hirsch Goldberg Poland, including Sagi Dekel-Chen, and several others. Dr. King said all life is interrelated. All humanity is involved in but a single process, and to the degree that I harm my brother, to that extent I harm myself. We say bring all of the hostages home now as part of a comprehensive deal. We stand with the tens of thousands of Israelis marching for immediate release of all of the hostages as part of a comprehensive deal which not only delivers security and safety to the hostages, but to all civilians, Israelis and Palestinians alike, now being driven to the brink of despair and famine and death. Hostage taking is a war crime. Hostage taking is a crime against humanity. Sexual violence as a weapon of war is a war crime, and it is a crime against humanity. The use of food and water to deprive hostages of or other civilians is a war crime and a crime against humanity. We say to Hamas, let the hostages go now. We say to all the governments of the world that the freedom, the security, and the peace of the hostages and all civilians is the paramount ethical imperative and consideration at this moment. It takes precedence over all other political and ideological agendas. We say bring them home now. On the 6-month anniversary of this nightmare, we have come today, and we came yesterday, and we will come again tomorrow until all of the remaining hostages are freed and brought home and reunited with their families, and until we safeguard the freedom and security of all civilians. I'm Israel Chai. Thank you very much for marching.
Grateful to have with us today the former Prime Minister and leader of the opposition, Yair Lapid.
We came here today to remember that things we take for granted should never be taken for granted. This hot spring sunshine above our heads should never be taken for granted. In its place could be the gloomy, threatening darkness of tunnels under the ground. The family and friends around us should not be taken for granted. We could be ripped apart from them. They could disappear from our lives, not knowing the fate for months on end. The fact that we are healthy should not be taken for granted. We could be injured with broken bones that no one treats, with bleeding cuts that no one bandages. Without medication, without treatment, slowly, painfully fading away. Our self-respect should not be taken for granted. We could be in a place where we are beaten, raped, where at any given moment we can be humiliated and tortured, and no one will come to help us. The food we eat should not be taken for granted. It could be replaced by constant hunger, by half a pita a day. We could be with a 10-month-old baby who no one feeds, looking at him helplessly until he dies. The security we feel could be replaced by fear. Not normal fear, fear as a way of life, constant fear, fear for days and weeks and months, until the soul is crushed and fear is all that is left. We came here today to say that there are truth and lies in this world. There is justice and injustice. There is right and wrong. The hostages in Gaza are not occupiers. They are victims. They are not oppressors. They are victims. They are just innocent victims. They are victims of terror and hate, and they are the victims of all those who remain silent. All those who tell us there are two sides to the story. No, there are not. There are no two sides to the story. There are no two sides to the story because this is not a story. These are real people. Romy, age 23. This is Alex, age 76, the son of 2 Holocaust survivors. This is Kfir, who was 9 months old when he was kidnapped and is 1 year and 3 months old now. We are here because they are real people and their suffering is real and they need to come home. Each and every one of us is responsible for their fate. No one has the right to forget. No one has the right to pretend this is normal. And life goes on because it doesn't. Every person, every leader, every government, including the Israeli government, needs to be part of the effort to bring them back home. We won't let the world forget. We will not rest until they come back home. That is the most important thing. That is the only thing that should be taken for granted. Thank you.
CEO of the Jewish Federation of Greater Washington, D.C., Gil Prus.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being here and joining us today. And thank you to the released hostages and hostage families for coming here and joining us and telling us, to remind us what is so important in this world today. As a father, son, brother, I can only imagine what you go through every single minute, every single day. What you have been forced to endure by the cruelty of Hamas is unbelievable and unbearable. As we counted before to 184, I was standing there imagining what every moment was like. And for us, it was only a brief couple of minutes. But for them, that counting goes on and on. But believe me, we are all here today to let you know that you must not carry this pain on your own. We are here, every person, to make sure that we will continue to push for their release, for their freedom at every moment and in every way that we can. The entire community, the entire Jewish community of this region and of this country is with you and will never, ever leave you alone until your family members are with you. We are here today on the National Mall, the center of America, where we come to demand freedom. We are here to say that they must come home now. Every single hostage must be allowed and must be released back today and immediately so that they can be home with their families. We are here to stand with you against the evil of Hamas, a group, a terrorist organization that murders men, women, and children, that kidnaps men, women, and children, and holds them to achieve some unknown goal just for the cruelty of having power over another people. We are all here together to tell you that we will stand against evil and we will work every day and every night to defeat this evil with everything that we can do and for as long as it takes. We are in the middle of one of the most trying times for Israelis, for the Jewish community, and for all humanity. We did not ask for this challenge, but we are facing it now, and you are leading us in facing that challenge. How we choose to make it through this moment, 6 months and counting, will be part of history. Your leadership, your bravery, your willingness to stand up for your family and against hatred is part of the story of the Jewish people forevermore. So I say to everyone here, speak out, act out, be there for one another, make a difference, call your members of Congress, call everyone that you know, and demand that every single hostage be brought home now. Bring them 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 home now. And finally, I hope and I know there'll be better days ahead. And I hope that someday in the not too distant future, we can welcome you all back to Washington with a full table with every single one of your family members, where we can all sit together and have a meal. Thank you.
Now call up Jonathan Dekel-Chen, father of Sagi Dekel-Chen.
I stand here humbled. I grew up in Connecticut in the 1960s and the 1970s, seeing this monument behind us as hallowed ground for freedom and justice. That is what we seek here today for our loved ones, who since October 7th have been hostages in Gaza. At this moment, my kibbutz community is burying Elad Katzir, a 47-year-old man, a friend of mine, a Hamas hostage who we know survived the massacre on Nir Oz. His Hamas captors murdered Elad in January after they barbarically paraded him in 2 hostage videos. Elad was allowed to die because not enough was done to rescue him. I say no more. There is no more time. Let us honor Elad's memory by making sure that this day, today, marks the beginning of the end of the hostages' living nightmare. Our hostages, including my beautiful 35-year-old son, Sagi, were abandoned, I'm sorry to say, by our own government in Israel on October 7th. They must not be sacrificed again. No more. I have proudly and patriotically lived on the border with Gaza, on Kibbutz Nir Oz, for the better part of 43 years. On October 7th, Hamas massacred 40 members of my extended family, destroyed our homes and our way of life. 40 Nir Ozniks are still hostages. Of them, we hope 27 are still alive. The people of Gaza have been my neighbors for those 43 years that I've been on Nir Oz. I wish for the people of Gaza the same things I wish for my own family. But here's the hard truth. The only hope for all of us begins with the return of all the hostages now. My brave son, Sagi, may be dying in a Hamas hellhole. To return him to his wife and 3 little girls, there is no room for politics in Israel or in the US. For those Arab nations serving as intermediaries in the negotiations, please go forward knowing this. The only way to avoid even more multi-generational tragedy in our region is to do all that you can and more to get the hostages home now. Please, you must not fail the hostages. The fate of our region, the Middle East, depends on you, Arab intermediaries. The road to any better future for Israelis and Palestinians begins when the hostages are freed. And to you wonderful people gathered here today at this temple of freedom, please know that in these dark days, weeks, and months, your solidarity is like rays of light for all of the hostage families. Of that I am sure. For the sake of Israel and our hostages, I ask that you join us doing everything in your power to end this terror, to end this horror. Join us in pressuring all sides to do the right thing. I believe here that all of us are lovers of Israel. Help us ensure that Israel's government does all that it must, no matter how painful, to redeem our 134 innocent captives. All of them have names, all of them daughters, sons, sisters, brothers, mothers, fathers, wives, husbands, and grandparents. Help me bring my beloved Sagi back to his family. Help my family and my country be complete again. Let the freedom and justice embodied in this hallowed monument carry the hostages home. Bless you all for being here today.
We now invite up Destiny Albritton, Senior Director of Next Gen at Christians United for Israel.
Hello, my name is Destiny Albritton, and I'm the Senior Director of Next Gen at Christians United for Israel. Supporting Israel, thank you. Supporting Israel is our single mission, and supporting the Jewish people is our single mission. It is an honor to be here with you today to lend my voice with yours as we demand the hostages held captive by Hamas in Gaza be brought home now. You may wonder, why are Christians committed to Israel and the Jewish people? Well, for me, like many Christians, I grew up surrounded by the story of Israel and the beautiful Jewish people, and I had no idea. When I was a little girl, every year around Easter, my dad would get so excited for the screening of a famous movie, The 10 Commandments. We weren't sure how it related to Easter, but if we had done basic research, we would have found out the 10 Commandments was broadcast for Passover, which takes place near Easter almost every year. My whole life, I celebrated Moses as a great leader, a man who was divinely trained to lead God's people out of oppression and out of distress in Egypt. One day I realized God's people, the Jewish people, they didn't vanish when they stopped writing books of the Bible. I realized Moses was the first leader for self-determination of the Jewish people for the land of Israel. I realized Moses was a Zionist and the people of Israel live. It is our mission at Christians United for Israel that every Christian familiar with Moses has that same understanding. It is our mission to ensure every Christian understands that hatred that hardened Pharaoh's heart to keep the Jewish people oppressed is the same hatred that has kept 130 people held captive in Gaza. It has been 6 months since Hamas's brutality on October 7th. It has been 6 months since the 130 remaining hostages were snatched from safety. 6 months is half of a year. It is too long and it is unacceptable. I may not be Jewish, but I was born to be a friend of Israel and the Jewish people. And so today I say, Israel, you are not alone. I say, Hamas, let my people go. Bring them home now. I represent over 10 million Christians around the United States from different denominations, races, and political affiliations. And I stand shoulder to shoulder with you to bring the hostages home today. Thank you.
We now will hear from Idan Alexander's sister, Mika, and Omer Nutra's brother, Daniel.
Hello, my name is Mika Alexander, and I'm the sister of Idan Alexander.
And my name is Daniel Nutra. I am the brother of Omer Nutra.
These young men are both lone soldiers that have been through hell since October 7th, 2023. My family's entire world changed on this terrible day when my older brother Idan was kidnapped and taken hostage by Hamas terrorists. It's now been 6 months since we last heard anything from my brother. 184 days since I've been able to text or even hear him laugh. He turned 20 in captivity, somewhere in the dark, without his family or friends who love him. I'm 3 years younger than Idan, and I've always looked up to him, and this year I couldn't even wish him a happy birthday. He's my best friend, and he's taught me to be kind and selfless, to seek out adventures, and to always put my friends and family first. Instead of going straight to college after high school, Idan chose to serve in the army in Israel because he wanted to do something good for other people, because he's the most selfless and he cares about others the most. The day Idan disappeared was the worst day I've ever experienced. Our mom called him in the morning of October 7th when she heard rockets began to fly near Gaza. He said he was safe, but then he stopped responding. A few days later, I officially found out that my brother has been taken hostage by Hamas terrorists along with hundreds of others. I just want to know if my brother is okay, and I just want him home. I join my mother, my father, my brother Roy, and the rest of the families that are awaiting word of their loved ones and implore the US, Qatar, Egypt, Israel, and other allies in the region to stop at nothing to bring our loved ones home immediately. Hamas has committed crimes against humanity, and it's time for them to release every single hostage, and it's time to bring my brother home before it's too late. Thank you.
Can you imagine 6 months not knowing if your brother is alive or dead? Can you imagine a whirlwind of media, protests, politicians, and needing to advocate like an activist to make sure people even know about him, let alone care? Can you imagine being shouted at by a crowd of people for the crime of your brother being kidnapped? Can you imagine your brother's life in the hands of a group that murdered 1,200 people in one day? Can you imagine being told by your prime minister to your face that his ambitions take priority over a deal that will save your brother's life? Can you imagine dreaming every night, that he will come back, and waking up to realize he's still gone? I can't imagine it. 6 months in, and every day feels like I'm waking up on October 7th with the same questions. Is Omer safe? Does he know that we're fighting for him? Is he eating enough? Is he drinking seawater? Has he seen the sun in 6 months? No one can imagine it. Not you, not the governments, not the media, not anyone. But this is our reality, and I can't bear to imagine it. When will brave, selfless Omer embrace us again? When will we see his warm smile? This has to stop, not for me, but for all the hostages.
Bring them home. Bring them home. Bring them home. Bring them home.
Executive Director of the JCRC of Greater Washington, Ron Halbert.
Six months ago, a crime against humanity was committed against the state of Israel and the Jewish people. The 1,200 people who we lost are forever seared in our hearts and in our memories. Today and every day we honor them. Today and every day we will never forget. For the more than 130 people being held hostage by Hamas, every day is October 7th. For their families, as you've heard today, the nightmare has never ended. As American Jews, we stand here in ironclad unity with the Israeli families who are suffering nonstop from this unimaginable horror. To the Israeli families here today, we say, we love you. We will continue to move heaven and earth and do everything in our power to bring your loved ones home. This is our mission. We are one Jewish family. Our faith teaches us the principle of Pidyon Shivuim, securing the release of a fellow Jew who is imprisoned unjustly. This is not simply a responsibility, my friends. It is a commandment. Never in our lives has it been more important to follow it. And as the world once again points its collective finger at Israel, we remind the world it is Hamas that has no regard for innocent human life. It is Hamas which deliberately targeted women and children and used rape and sexual